All right, let's do it, y'all. Back again. We were on this morning around 8 a.m. just because we had to. We had to come on here and break down what it is we saw last night. So we're back. We're better than ever. Zak Noble, BallisLife.com. He's gonna hop on with us in about 20 minutes. So we're just waiting for him. As we still try to process what it is that we saw last night. I put my video out on all my social media platforms. So that is, hang on, let me fix my camera. Camera's out here looking a little shaky, y'all. So real time adjusting. I put it out on my social media platforms. This is the best Knicks win since when? And the premise of that is there is a generation and maybe a large or maybe multiple generations of Knicks fans who that's the best win they've ever seen. I just saw one of the comments say DiVincenzo against the Sixers. Phenomenal, down 5 with like what 20 seconds left to go in the game. It's an unbelievable, miraculous comeback. It's also the second round of the playoffs. This is Eastern Conference Finals, chance to get to the NBA Finals for the first time since '99. So the gravity of that, to me, is just larger than as great as that game was with Dante DiVincenzo and how you loved and was obsessed with that team. This just hits a little bit different. Hits a little bit differently. So that's the question I'm posing to people today, posing to the Knicks fans. That's a video. If you want to check it out, Ty D Butler. That is on Instagram. It's on Twitter. It's on YouTube and TikTok as well. This is the best Knicks win since blank. We've got game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. As I mentioned, Zak Noble of BallisLife.com. He's going to join the show soon. We've got game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. We're getting hit every single night with some just awesome basketball. And this works two ways. Like on one side, it's like, man, we can't get this type of intensity night to night throughout the regular season, so we don't have to complain so often. And on the other hand, it does kind of illuminate how sometimes we are foolish in our criticism of the league and how far we go, because there are certain pockets of the internet that we know is being disingenuous about why they dislike the NBA. They don't really care too much about the product. And, I saw the whole, well, baseball is clearly surpassed the league. It's number 2. These weren't hardcore baseball fans saying that. These were, far right wing, anti the woke NBA, because how dare these guys use their platform to highlight social issues. So we knew that the genesis of it really wasn't about the basketball, wasn't about the product. And look, I'm not gonna lie to you, as someone who loves watching basketball, you do get frustrated throughout the season at how many times you're like hyped for a big game, only to a few hours before tip off get that Malika Andrews or Sham Charania injury report, star players not playing. It's so deflating, and it's something that doesn't happen in any other sport. Like baseball does load management. You'll see a catcher sit the day game after a night game. A Yankee fan, you'll see Judge get a day off, but it's sparingly. You're not getting hit in the head with, here's a big time game that you should be paying attention to. National television, a clash of two titans, Spurs Thunder, no SGA, no Wemby. So that just is so demoralizing if you're a fan. How are you trying to showcase the best of what your product has to offer if you're not giving us the best that what your product has to offer in the form of the stars? So that's all legitimate. tanking, which is a disaster in the NBA, where a third of the league halfway through the season just decides it's better to not win games. So I understand that the All-Star game, I get it. But my point is that it at times feels like it goes too far. And I'm guilty of it too. Because there were days I showed up and I'm like, yo, is Adam Silver, is his job in jeopardy? And then you're like, well, I mean, they just signed a $10 billion media rights deal. All these different streaming apps want them. And now we've seen in the playoffs, the ratings are fantastic. And you're getting the highest level of basketball. Now that we hit the conference finals, every other night, it's going to be tremendous. Spurs Thunder electrifying. We know built into it. Like we don't even have to worry. Like that is going to be a fantastic series. Knock on wood, no injury takes place. Knicks Cavs through the first, I would say the first half of that game, I was in attendance for it, was not great at all. It was not great at all. And I put this tweet out that I want to show y'all. And then someone came at me after the game. It was funny. People get all sensitive. So I said, "How's this measuring up?" I'm sitting in MSG. It's 8:38 p.m. So I guess at that point we're like maybe into the second quarter, just based on the timing of the tweet. And I said, "How's this measuring up to Game 1 of the West Finals so far?" Because there was like the rust certainly hit the Knicks. The Cavs just had like these mind-boggling, unforced turnovers. It's one thing for great defense to lead to a turnover, and that can be entertaining. If you watch an excellent defense just clamp down, that can be an entertaining product. But we just saw like the dumbest cross-court passes, just silly turnovers that did not make you feel like you were watching the two best teams in basketball in the conference finals. It felt like a preseason game. There was no rhythm, stoppages, and coming off of what we had seen the night before with Wemby against Oklahoma City, and then SGA got it going in that fourth quarter, it was a bit of a letdown. And, coming into the conference finals, I think it was Michael Wilbon who said, like, this was like the JV of the series. And he's right. Even after the sensational finish we saw, this was like the JV of the series because Spurs Thunder, we've essentially been previewing that for the last 5 months. Those two teams, once we got to December, we learned we're on a collision course. And that's with all due respect to my basketball team, the Los Angeles Lakers, all due respect to my favorite player in the league's basketball team, Kevin Durant and the Rockets, with all due respect to the best player in the league, Nikola Jokic and his Nuggets. This all year long was trending toward Spurs Thunder. Who's going to get home court advantage was really the only like outcome that was in jeopardy, in doubt for to a certain extent. And once we learned that, it was like, all right, everything else is cute. Get me to the Western Conference Finals. We need to see Wemby on that stage against the defending champs. And then game 1 delivers. That was as good of a game, of the last, at least the last decade. Certainly for me. And look, I want to preface this by saying I'm 33, so I go back to like late 90s, early 2000s. My earliest memories watching basketball. But I don't care what age you are, that Wemby performance was one of the best you've ever seen. Not just the stat line, but the massive plays. I thought if the Spurs had lost that game, that series was over, just because you can't play that well, be heavy dogs, have a chance to win the game, and then blow it at the end and still expect to win the series. So the massive plays he had, the building he's playing against. Before the game, he watches SGA get his second straight league MVP, an award that I'm sure Wemby in his mind's like, that should be mine. It goes to it goes to overtime. and he's just tremendous. So, given all the stakes, his age, the Spurs, where they are in their timeline, supposed to be house money. And that's what I love about this series, too. Typically, when you get to this point, and it's a young team that has really two players in their rotation that have experience. One of them barely plays, Harrison Barnes. He's gone to a couple of finals, won a championship, but he barely plays. De'Aaron Fox is a starter who didn't play in game one. And the extent of his playoff experience was one round against Golden State a couple of years ago. So typically with a group that young, where it's just all these lottery picks finally blossoming and your best players in year two, it's like house money once you get to the conference finals. But because Wemby's 7'5", and we just are skeptical about how long a guy that size can last in this league without getting hurt, and he's already experienced injuries. Like, we forget about the blood clot situation last year that ended his season, and it was scary because you think about the players, Chris Bosh, like, who have had that type of situation. You just were like hoping and praying this was, from a personal standpoint and caring about his life and health. First and foremost, you were hoping and praying like he was okay. And then the sports fan in you was just devastated. Like, we can't be teased with this type of like transcendent talent and it never go anywhere. So you then get to year two for Wemby, playoff debut. It should be house money, but because we have no idea how long the shelf life is for a guy, it's almost like running backs in the NFL. Like, we don't expect it to last long. And I'm not saying the expectation for Wemby should be like his career is going to be 7 years, but at that size, you just never know. It's different if he's 6'6" versus 7'5", a whole foot taller. So it's not house money for San Antonio. This is your opportunity to cash in, especially because you look at the landscape of the Western Conference. Like, the Nuggets, I think, do get past round one. They beat Minnesota if Aaron Gordon doesn't get hurt. And look, we say they've been bitten by injuries literally every year that they didn't win the championship. Whether it's Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon back-to-back years of having issues, Peyton Watson. So I still believe in Denver, and maybe they're like a couple of tweaks to that roster away from getting back to the finals. You have uh, I'm not being biased, but Luka is one of the best players in the league, and whatever the team is, or whoever the team is that employs him, they're a contender as long as they're not just incompetent, right? Like, we saw the roster Luka drag to the finals a couple of years ago. So with Luka, with Oklahoma City not going anywhere, with Nikola Jokic and what the Nuggets can be when healthy. Like, there's just no definite that San Antonio every single year is going to be in the conference finals. I know we say it, right? Like, this is what the Western Conference looks like. These two teams going head to head and deciding who the representative is. And it sounds good in theory, but you just never know, right? So for the Spurs, who I did pick to win this series in 7 games, hell of a start to get off to. And I also think that it's important for these young cats who are already awesome, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, and then Wemby, of course, like the three-headed monster, in addition to the, Vassell and all these other cats. Like, it's important for them to get the experience of deep playoff runs early. And, some teams, you got to have pelt on the wall, because NBA history tells us that you get knocked down early, and typically there are some bumps and bruises along the way before you get to where you got to get to, unless you're the '08 Celtics and that was just a collection of Hall of Fame talent. Like, we saw the Warriors have to get knocked down a couple of times before they win the championship. We saw the Nuggets get to a conference finals, get swept, then what, 3 years later they win a championship. Look at the Celtics; they were in 6 of 8 Eastern Conference Finals, and then they finally cash in and win the championship in 24. And this is just like the history of the league, right? Um, Kobe's Lakers get into the finals in 2008, and then they go back to back in 9 and 10. So history tells us, unless you're Magic Johnson, who, by the way, did have Kareem, that you got to get knocked down a couple times. Jordan Bulls, they didn't win right away. So for the Spurs, I think they can win this series. I think we all believe they can win this series, and that was just confirmed on Monday night. But just imagine, and this is a massive game, because this might sound crazy. What are the odds tonight? So the Thunder are now 7.5 point favorites. But a lot of money is coming in on San Antonio to cover the 7.5 points. They're minus 230 to win the game. I get it. If you're the Vegas, like, what are the odds OKC drops go start OKC starts the playoffs 8-0 and then drops back-to-back games at home to this young, albeit phenomenal, but young Spurs team? But I am inclined to say, is this an elimination game for OKC? I guess no, right? That would be a touch disrespectful, given they've been the number one seed the last 3 years. They've got the back-to-back MVP. They've got the deepest roster of any team, certainly any team remaining. And it's the Thunder, so we just trust them. But I don't know. I'm inclined to think this might be an elimination game for OKC. You go down 2-0 in back-to-back home games, you lose to the Spurs, who then go back to San Antonio with all this momentum. I don't know how you come back from that. So I'm excited for tonight. Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Zak Noble, BallisLife.com. He joins the show. And first and foremost, good afternoon, bro. Good to
Hey
talk to
man,
you. How you
how are you?
doing?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great. I thought of you because I saw a tweet that I put out earlier that you liked. So I'm like, this is the universe telling me I gotta talk James Harden with you.
Heck yeah.
Before we get to Knicks Cavs, quickly, I just stumbled into a take that I don't know that I feel comfortable giving, but I'm just curious to run it by you. Is this an elimination game for Oklahoma City tonight?
Man, as good as the Spurs played game one, I think it is. Yeah, I mean, they just looked too damn good, and like the Thunder didn't look bad at all. They were in the game the whole time. I just don't think th- you can go down 2-0 to this good of a team. I think the Spurs are ready to win right now. Maybe it was just a game one fluke because we have
Yeah.
that from time to time. Game one, I always say, is the easiest game to win, and the Thunder were resting, so they should have more in the tank. But I was not impressed with Dagnall in that game just by having Jalen Williams solely on Wemby for big stretches, especially towards the end of the game. I just blew my mind. It's like, what are you doing? There should only be two or three guys that have a chance to ever guard Wemby ever. You need size, you need length. I mean, Jalen's not little Jalen at 6'7" isn't enough. Isn't enough.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I thought both coaches, and this is the fun part of the playoffs where you see the chess match, because and JJ Redick showed this blueprint. Actually, in the Rocket series, the one game that Durant played, it was like anyone but KD is gonna beat us. We're just gonna blitz him. The Lakers then did that to SGA, and we saw Mitch Johnson, the head coach of the Spurs, do that to SGA the entirety of that game. And I thought it was an awesome chess match. So I am curious to see how Dagnall responds to his best player being, put in a spot that we're not accustomed to see him being put in, and that's not having control of the game. And they just said Caruso, J Dub, Chet, Case and Wallace, whoever it is, you guys can beat us. SGA is not going to do it. So I'm curious to see what that looks like as
For
far as
sure.
like a counter. Um, but with that said, Oklahoma City definitely wins this game tonight. I just can't see them going down 0-2.
I agree, especially at home, and they were in it. I mean, they were a Jalen 3 away at the buzzer, just like Sam Merrill had an in and out 3 at the buzzer as well. So these games could have looked completely different. They were wide open, but that's the way it goes. And I just Wemby, man, I think there's an easier formula to stop him. He's willing to shoot the ball. Just let him shoot the three ball a little bit and have length on him. I mean, he dominated the small guys. It's Hartenstein, Chet, Big Jalen. I mean, that's about it.
Yeah,
So, somebody's got to be on him all times. I mean, yes, he's amazing. I'm not saying it's like there's a guy that can actually stop him, but I mean, you can definitely contain him a lot better than they did.
it's one of the greatest performances I've ever seen. And it's really obviously the stat line jumps out: 41 points, 24 rebounds, 3 block shots, and one of the blocks iced the game. He had the Steph Curry S3. But I just thought, man, a 22-year-old in that type of environment is not supposed to look as comfortable and make as many winning plays as he did. And for him to, in his first playoff run, have that type of performance, especially on the night where he just watched SGA win an award that I think most people felt like SGA deserved, but the competitive nature of Wemby's like, no, that should have been mine. And people brought up the whole David Robinson, Olajuwon con back in the mid '90s, and I just thought, man, like what we're watching, is this the evolution of basketball? Is this the next? Is this the next phase of the league? Is this the next, decade plus of him being the best player? So I know it was a couple of days ago, but what was your thoughts watching what he did?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's definitely not something to just leave it in the past. It was an all-time performance for a guy in his first playoff run ever, and I'm a huge proponent of giving guys basically a pass their first playoff performance. So it's like even more exaggerated, in my opinion, especially no De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
And just, yeah, there's besides Harrison Barnes, I mean, it's been a long time for him being in the playoffs too. I don't think anybody else has really even been in the playoffs on that team. And Mitch has just got these guys looking so ready. The ball movement's probably the best in the league right now. I mean, all year it was them and the Celtics, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't think they even need Fox to win the series, but I think tonight could look completely different. I mean, Vegas having the line at 7.5 again
Yeah.
is a big thing in my opinion. But I mean, yeah, it's staring at me right in the face, like 7.5. You got to take that.
All right. I've avoided it long enough. James Harden.
Oh God, here we go.
So we've had this conversation before, and I respect your basketball opinion. I love seeing you pop up on my timeline. You are obviously someone who loves this game, breaks it down as good as anyone on NBA Twitter. I was at the Garden last night, and I got
Lucky
to,
motherfucker.
yeah, it was incredible atmosphere. Obviously, MSG, world's most famous arena, and the problem is, the difference between those two teams was one of them had Jalen Brunson, who wanted the smoke, and the other team had Donovan Mitchell, who disappeared. So this isn't all James Harden. Like, Mitchell has to catch some heat like that. He
A
just didn't
lot.
show up in the fourth quarter. But also, your guy James Harden, because he's got a rich history of his shortcomings. I mean, here's the thing, man. It's one thing for him to struggle the way that he did defensively. He got destroyed, and part of that is coaching. But on offense, here's what bothers me so much, Zach. So Jalen Brunson's got 5 fouls. He's the weak link on the Knicks defense. And what we know about watching Jalen Brunson is, as soon as he realized he can't defend, he is going to go to his only advantage of being the best guy at taking charges in basketball, and those become 50-50 calls. So if if you're getting him in pick and roll, driving to the basket, and he's going to take that risk of drawing a charge, it's a coin flip whether or not he can finish the game. And despite that, I saw James Harden settling for jump shot after jump shot. To his credit, he did hit one to put them up with 30 seconds left to go in the game.
Yeah, that was a big
But
one.
the totality of that fourth quarter performance, I am very curious to hear you defend it.
No, there's nothing to defend other than I just hate that they treat this guy like he's at his prime and that he's the number one option of this team. Like, first of all, that run should have never happened in the fourth quarter. When it gets to 14, when it gets to 12, you call a timeout immediately. I'm the biggest advocate of coaches being good at calling timeouts. Like Chris Finch, terrible timeout caller, terrible. And I can go on. Like I judge coaches on calling timeouts so much. Like Bill Self, as a diehard Kansas fan, Bill Self is excellent at calling timeouts. He does not let runs happen. They don't exist in his world. Like he knows the pulse of his team, the momentum. And Kenny Atkinson, man, I've been the biggest supporter of his since the Brooklyn days. I was like, this guy should be hired immediately right after that. Every team, every opening since that time, like Kenny Atkinson, he's the guy. And his playoff performance has not sat well with me, honestly. I mean, I still like him as a dude. I mean, I think he's a player's coach. I think guys like him a lot, but like from a scheme standpoint, like how do you not just bring it back to pickup basketball? If James Harden's getting torched once or twice, like if that's me, somebody's coming dragging my ass off, putting me in the corner and pick up basketball and said, no, this is my guy. We're not getting destroyed like this. You had your chance. Where's Dean Wade? The only job he has is to defend. Where is Evan Mobley, the guy who I think is one of the top 5 defenders in the league? Where is Dennis Schroeder coming off the bench? Like Donovan Mitchell, even like Donovan Mitchell, you're athletic. Like Harden, I mean, it's not like he's not trying. It's just he's cooked, and you can't even blame his injury. Like where everybody blames Anthony Edwards as a Timberwolves fan. Like people say I've been too harsh on Ant because he's injured, and sure, okay. But what about James Harden? Never gets a pass for his injuries. Never. And yes, with his shooting, sure, you can give him a little pass right now, even though he's had these shooting stints plenty of times in the past. So that's a different story. But like his left hand seems a little fucked up right now. It really does, honestly. But when it comes to the defense, I mean, James Harden to me is probably like third in line to blame for that disappearance last night. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, 3 points in the fourth quarter and overtime. Yes, blame is all around, but Jared Allen did not have a great game either. I mean, he's got to be.
He missed those 2 free throws that were just
for sure
mind-numbing.
Yeah, it just comes back to it's so easy to get your clicks off. I mean, that's the easiest talking point. Everybody likes piling on James Harden. It's a cool thing to do. And yeah, I mean, he had 3 or 4 instances he got burned by that were just awful. And that's you can't have James Harden on Jalen Brunson. Like that is simple, Matt. Like I would never have said that from the beginning of the game, even though James was playing pretty good defense for the first 3 quarters and the first couple rounds. Yeah, and Kenny, his post game conversation just terrible. And even today they asked him, like, what did you talk with James Harden about? He said nothing about him or the rest of the team. He just basically said micro performances get exaggerated. James has been a great isolation. Yeah, it's like, no.
Yeah.
Let's be real here, Kenny.
But okay, so before I actually want to defend Harden on one possession in the game that to me, if you're a Cavs fan, you wake up and you're just throwing up all over the place because it doesn't make sense. Before I get to that though, the Harden stuff defensively, we can talk about. The offense, there's no excuse for it. And I understand he's 37 years old. He's in year 17. He's their primary ball handler. He's their playmaker. So, yes, Mitchell deserves a lot of abuse today because he's the best player on the team. and the stat line ends up looking fine because he was awesome through the first 3 quarters. And into the fourth quarter, he hit that three that put them up 22. And he's got to be more aggressive late. But the Harden stuff, bro, like far too often, man. Like we've seen these big games where he doesn't come through. And granted, he had big games against the Pistons in the last series where he came through. He also went 2 of 10 in Game 7. There's just no defense to a multiple time scoring champion, a league MVP, one of the 40 greatest players in NBA history,
25.
having so many of these on his resume. Like you can't escape that. Like that's just on his resume. And it's also noteworthy. None of us are surprised that it happened because we've grown far too accustomed to see it take place.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that he's still getting doubled in the year 2026 and year 17. Yeah, regardless of how he's getting defended, he definitely has some terrible turnovers. There's no excuse for it. But I'm telling you, I mean, the Cavs, I mean, half of his turnovers aren't on him.
How
It's
about
like,
the bunny he had in the lane? So he's
dude,
got a layup.
he missed a couple floaters yesterday that were bad. And
Terrible.
no, I mean, if he had 23 points, people would definitely be talking him up a lot more, even though they shouldn't be. If everything was the exact same, but he had 23 points last night, he made like 2 or 3 more shots because of those easy floaters he missed. But yeah, I think that comes back to the hand being messed up. But
I don't want to listen to that when we've got a history. We've got going back to the 2012 year, right? So we've got 14 years of this in the
I mean, it's
finals.
only been really bad post Houston
But
days.
look,
I mean, where
but we know the stat where 25% of his playoff games he's had is just as many field goals as turnovers.
right,
That's
but
not all just like high usage rate. The turnovers are not his fault. Like he has to wear this. When you're one of if we are acknowledging this is an all-time great player in any sport like the NFL, like baseball, like hockey, when this happens consistently, we are going to be highly critical of it. And it's not just clickbait. It's not just us looking and fishing for engagement. This is what we're watching. I was at the game. I'm rooting for this to be a long series. Just as a fan, I picked the Knicks in 5, but part of me was like, yo, if the Cavs close this deal, we're going to get at least 6 or 7 of these things. I want to see that. So I'm not
yeah.
looking for Harden to fail. It's just the facts are the facts.
No, it was a game where the Cavs looked way better. Honestly, they looked way better the first 3 quarters, and Jalen Brunson just does what he does and took over, and Kenny and the boys let it happen. I mean, it was okay. What are you bringing up here?
Yeah, so because you brought up Jalen Brunson doing what he does, because you watch film, you can break it down. I can't stop watching this video. So this is the Knicks' final. Can you see this?
Yeah, looks
Okay.
good.
So this is the Knicks' final offensive possession of regulation after Harden's turnaround jumper in the lane to give the Cavs a 2-point lead.
Where the fuck is Jared Allen?
Here's Jared Allen is right here on the block.
I
Comes
know.
down baseline to go to Cat. Here's my problem with what happens for the Cavs on this play, and someone's got to explain this to me. So Bridges doesn't even set a screen; they're just allowing the Harden switch without any resistance. Bridges is not setting a screen; it's not even a brush screen. He's just
Right.
walking across the floor.
This is all Kenny.
Why is this being switched? I don't understand that. How is that being switched?
And Sam Merrill hits big shots, but his on off right now is absolutely terrible for the entire playoffs. Dean Wade, the only reason why he's playable is because of his defense has been great. I mean, I think he's a terrible offensive player. Max Strus, to me, like needed way more minutes last night. I think he's super underrated on defense. And like he would have been a great guy in this situation to have on Jalen Brunson. I mean, look at Evan Mobley ending up in the corner. Like, how does that happen?
I don't. Yeah, what are they? What's going on this possession here?
Mitchell standing holding his dick. I mean,
well, because understandably, the Knicks have 4 shooters on the floor, so you don't want to overhelp, and it's a 2-point game. So like you can lose the game on this possession, and you're saying worst case scenario, Brunson scores a layup. We still have an opportunity to win the game, which they did if Merrill hits that shot. I just have a huge problem with Yeah, like Jared Allen, where are you, bro? Like what? Like you're stepping up way too.
It was one on
You're
one the entire time, right when Jalen crosses the 3-point line here. Like
and
it's
Merrill.
it's
Why is
it's
Merrill
a
allowing the Harden switch?
it's a perfect possession for the Knicks. I mean, they got exactly what they wanted the entire fourth quarter, and um, man, it's just gross to see. Like
Yeah,
Cavs they have good defensive players. Like I'm a person that likes literally all of these Cavs players that play for.
it's
I
a
think they're all like very good role players. It's just getting them in the role that they need. And
it's a good
uh,
roster. That's what's been so perplexing about this run for the Cavs. I thought
why
Max
am I in
Strus, when they
black and
added
white?
them, yeah. I don't. What happened to you here?
That's weird.
Uh, did you? I didn't do that to you.
All good.
Is there something on your end that you're able to adjust here? Because I can't. Yeah, I
There
can't.
we go.
Are you back?
Yep, should be good.
All right. Um, yeah, we went back to the 60s there. Uh, so I like their roster. I just for whatever reason, it just hasn't been able to come together. Um, I think they're cooked. I just don't know that a team, a heavy dog, can lose a game like that and then respond. Maybe they win tomorrow and shock me. But I just think when you have a loss like that, it's hard to recover from it. And by the way, the Knicks know that because they had a similar loss in the playoffs last year in game 1 of the Indiana series.
Dude, I think that
And
was worse. I think that was worse
you thought
because
well, it's 9
it
points with a
happened.
minute left.
It happened so fast, and it like that was much more avoidable versus giving Jalen Brunson so much time, and it just felt like he had everything. And yeah, I way less time per point is how I look at it.
Do you think the Cavs can still win this series?
Man, it went from literally a 50-50 matchup to I'll probably give them, I don't know, 15% now. Like, I just don't. They've proven us wrong. They've had some bad losses in these first two series and came back. So, like,
And
that's
none of
what.
those teams are the Knicks, right? Like you can do that
Correct. Yeah.
against.
No, I've had the Knicks and the Cavs at the top most of the season. Um, I just think if they can find a way to slow down Jalen Brunson, I think this rest of the team is very maintainable. I mean, I really believe that. Um, like you can, Jared Allen could just stop Cat, and I've seen Cat go blanks for playoff games many a times. But yeah, it's a Jalen Brunson. I mean, it's ride or die, and I mean he can take on the world. Don't get me wrong. I'm a
Yeah,
huge Brunson guy, and I think he can do it. But if they find a way to contain him, I mean, the fact that they didn't even try to double him,
it
like
made no
ever,
sense. It did.
like
It
ever.
didn't make So I think they actually when I went back and watched, I think they tried to, but on possessions where it didn't make sense. So
Okay,
like 2 minutes left to go in the game.
on
And at
his
that
tied
point,
up.
you're up 6 with 2 minutes left to go in the game. So it's like Brunson's driving to the basket. If he's gonna score twos, you'll take that. You start blitzing them and you're leaving Shamit and Bridges open. That doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna blitz
Right.
him, do it earlier in the quarter to shut his water off. What the we haven't spoken about this, and I'm sure uh this didn't make many shows. The Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder, like those. I was at the game and I was actually next to a couple of Cavs fans, and they were saying there are times where Dennis Schroeder just looks like the worst player in the NBA, and we know he's not, but like it just sticks out because you're in the conference finals. The Ellis and Schroeder minutes, I thought killed them yesterday.
Yeah, those two should never be together. I mean, the thing that's great about Harden, I mean, the execution might not be the best, like as consistent, but like he's usually making the right play. He makes everybody else better. I mean, his on off is the best in the team. Like it's nuts. But yeah, I mean, he just makes brain dead play a little too often from time to time, and or he makes a pass when he should have shot, and the guy, his teammate's not ready for it,
Yeah.
and because they haven't played together long enough to realize, oh, might kick it in this situation. Then he fumbles it in the corner, so it comes a turnover on Harden again. Um, there was probably 2 or 3 of those last night.
Yeah. So I feel like if the Cavs win tomorrow, it almost in some ways makes you feel worse
Why? Let's
because
hear
it's
it.
like, well, because it's like we had a game in our bag. Like we're up 22 with 7:40 left to go in the game, and we lost that. So, like, if you believe in the fallacy of the predetermined outcome, we should be up 2-0 in the series, and yet it's 1-1, and it really feels like we're still trailing.
Yeah, I mean, if they're able to move on, they moved on. I mean,
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
but I mean, they gotta just the first quarter is gonna tell the entire game. It's either gonna be a blowout or the Cavs. I mean, find a way to stay. There's no coming back after a rough start tomorrow. I will say that. Like, and if they do, they'll shock the living hell out of me.
All right, last one for you. If if the Knicks do advance, and I'm expecting them to advance, how do you think they stack up against each of these teams in the West? The Spurs and Oklahoma City.
Great against OKC. If Wemby just keeps doing what he's doing, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Mikal Bridges and OG, I mean, their length is all the Knicks guy. I don't think they have Mitch and Cat. Like the 3 big guys, I'll take on OKC. I'll take them over the 3 bigs for defense, the Knicks all day. But yeah, I don't think Mikal and OG even could do it together. But you never know. I mean, Mike Brown might have a little more in his bag. Who knows? He's been around the block, but it's tough. Like Hartenstein needs to play more minutes, and I mean, if Chet and Big Jalen figure out their side of things a little bit more, I think that will bode well for the Knicks. You can say. I mean, I think if they can find ways to defend Wemby and slow him down, make this a great series, and they still lose, I think the Knicks. I'll feel way better about the Knicks guys.
So who do you feel better about them playing, the Spurs or the Thunder?
Oh, uh, the Knicks for sure. The Thunder for sure. Right
Oh,
now,
really?
yeah. This is just after game one. Do I think the Thunder like? Do I think the Thunder is still the slightly better team? Yes, but like they had no answer for Wemby, and it's like why wait? Why wait until game 2 to make adjustments? And maybe there is a strategy to that. Get their hopes up really high, and then switch things up and make them really confused and whatnot. Like I could see the Thunder blowing them out tonight if their strategy comes out
Yeah.
really sound and really frustrate the hell out of Wemby because he can be frustrated. I mean, he got kicked out against the Wolves. I mean, if you find a way to get inside that guy's head, like the dude's skill set is unbelievable, but the mental side of it is where you take him out. I mean, the Knicks can be strong and the Knicks can be tough. I mean, I just don't know if Chet can be that guy,
Yeah.
and they need a lot of Chet. So I think Hart and Big Jalen are going to be the 2 that get really physical with them, and everybody else. I mean, it's tough. I mean, yeah, that game 1 shocked me, man. It really did, especially when I thought the Thunder came back and I thought they were going to win it in regulation, and then
Once it gets to overtime, you thought because Wemby looks like really shot and
right.
he's not a guy who plays a ton of minutes, you thought, yeah, OKC's got this one. And it's similar to how we felt last night. Once it got to overtime and the Cavs were just shell shocked, we knew the Knicks were going to win. And I thought that that was going to be the same case in Oklahoma City a couple of nights ago.
Both should be decent series. I mean, this Thunder Spurs, if it's not like an all-time great series, I'm gonna be really bummed. Like I think it's going to be, regardless. Game 1 was unbelievable, but I just don't want to see the Knicks blow out the Cavs. I mean, I like the Knicks. I'm personally anybody but the Spurs. I'm not ready for
Wait,
this.
why are you anti-Spurs?
To me, it's just too quick for me. And as a Timberwolves fan, I do not want to deal with the wrath of Wemby being this good already. Like,
Uh,
if he comes out and just makes this an easy title for him, like with De'Aaron Fox missing games and super young, inexperienced guys around him, it's like the league's in trouble for a long time. And
but I think that's the case. Even if Wemby loses this series, I think that doesn't
I
change.
don't. No, I don't. If they lose the series, it's because the Thunder are still dominant and they found a way to slow him down. I mean, Wemby, I mean, basically did game one by himself. Yes, Dylan Harper was great. Don't get me wrong; they made some big shots, but I mean, no, that was like you said, that was one of the all-time performances from one dude.
All right, last one, I promise. What does because you're a Timberwolves fan, I'm curious. What does their offseason look like ideally for you?
I'm a proponent of getting rid of Finch. It's just like who's the guy?
Jason
That's
Kidd?
No, no, I'm not a kid guy, not at
Oh,
all. But I would love to find a way to get in the Giannis sweepstakes. I don't think we can compete with the Miami offer that's rumored right now. I think we can maybe get two first tops, and then Jaden McDaniel is definitely more valuable than Tyler Hero, I'd say. Um, that Nas Reed, and I mean everybody's available in my opinion, but yeah, I'd give up some toast to find a way to get Giannis or Jalen Brown.
so everyone not named Ant-Man is
Yeah,
available. Is
for
to
sure,
be had. Okay,
for
and
sure.
that includes Rudy, who was sensational in round one.
Yeah, and like Terrence Shannon Jr. is even really tough for me to give up, but Dante's tough for me to give up.
Well, yeah, I mean, who's trading for him coming off that injury?
True. Yeah, good point.
This was fun, man. We got to do it again. I
Yep.
appreciate you hopping on.
Yep.
Shout out Zak Noble, who does a tremendous job with Ball is Life. He's at Zak ZAK Noble NOBLE. So follow him on Twitter, and we'll definitely link up again, man. Go Minnesota! Shout out to your Timberwolves. I had a nice little showing in round two. We'll talk
Ant's
soon,
got to get
man.
better. All right. Appreciate you, Ty. Have fun with the next. See ya.
All right, thanks. That was Zak Noble. I appreciate him for joining the Ty Butler Show. We are live here streaming on YouTube. We're on Twitter as well. Programming notes. Once again, following game two, I will be on ESPN New York Radio breaking down the Knicks and the Cavs game two. I'll also be reacting to game two of this series. You've got the Wolves. I'm sorry, the Wolves. My bad, Zach. We've got the Spurs and the Thunder tipping off tonight at 8:30. So you'll get a heavy dose of both conference finals games. I'll be at the Garden tomorrow to watch the Knicks and the Cavs. I'm also going to be on television sports night. So if you are someone who does have access to Sports Nets New York, that is the SNY channel, a channel that the New York Mets play on. If you have SNY, I'll be on tomorrow at 11 talking Knicks basketball, Knicks Cavs. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you are someone who's just on social media, hit me up at Ty D Butler on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Shout out Dianelle saying salute, showing some love in the comments. We're here breaking down the NBA playoffs. It's been fun, man. You don't want it to end. We're having so much fun, you don't want it to end. Once we get to the conclusion of the finals, it's like you feel a little bit empty. And I love baseball, so it'll be cool to like completely lock in on baseball with the Yankees and the Mets here in New York. And then with all of the action going around elsewhere around the league. But man, it'll be a little bit of of an empty feeling once we get to the conclusion of this thing. So, um, I'm looking forward to just enjoying it, enjoying the ride. You've got the Knicks 3 wins away from the NBA Finals, which is just absurd to me in a sense of at all my life I've known the Knicks to be bad, and when they were good, it was just like a tease. It happened in like spurts, literally spurts. Melo's Knicks. Like you had the early 2000s, they were coming off of like that 90s run where they were still pretty good, but nothing to write home about. And then you get to the mid 2000s, late mid to late 2000s, where they were just dumpster fire. The Isaiah Thomas years, into the Phil Jackson years, into just, I mean, how many different coaches we can hire who all stink. So now we're at a point where not only are you wait, Mike Brown got excited at the end of regulation and picked up a calf injury, as you can see at midcourt. He picked up a hang on. I didn't realize that Mike Brown hurt his calf. Yeah, he hurt his calf. That's wild. So anyway, it's just like jarring to be in the midst of like the fans uttering the phrase job not finished. You're in the conference finals. You are not accustomed to any consistent success, and yet top of mind, his job is not finished. That'll do it for us tonight. Once again, Ty D. Butler, hit me up on all social media platforms. I appreciate y'all joining the show. This was a grand old time. We'll be back tomorrow. Set some stuff up because I've got the Knick game, radio, TV. Might come on here and stream tomorrow afternoon before I head to MSG. So that'll be a good time. Hit me up, Ty D. Butler. I appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your evening. Holla at your boy.